Members of destiny are always aware of you to get out best out of it. And join me this morning, celebrate your members of destiny. Celebrate them. I call them members of destiny because anyone that comes up with an agenda to help you to use the leadership trait in you, it's an helper destiny. We want to help you. They will not give you money, they will not give you any material thing. But they have things that when they give it to you, you'll be able to get things for yourself. And you can see them, they are here, and we believe in them, and that's why we allow them to come to talk to you. As you know, not just give room to any other person that we cannot vouch for. But we understand that they are organized body, seasoned, and they have thoughts, and that's why they are here. And I believe you will enjoy yourself. This is an empowerment / leadership training for every one of you. The problem we have in the country today is problem of leadership. 2019 is around the corner. Nigeria has no direction to face as pertaining who will lead this country for the next 4 years. But it all begins from colleges, primary school, homes, churches, and that's why Honeyland is taking the initiative to help you develop your leadership qualities, even as class rep and assistant, and as well as prefect. And this role will continue from one phase to another. University, then to the general world. We can't do it alone, and that's why we have our partners and our own helpers of destiny. They will come here, they will introduce themselves, and they will speak to you. And I want you to give them maximum cooperation, and as you do that, God will bless you. Also, here you have Mrs. Okunola, who you know very well, and our own Mr. Miriam Kenneth Defines, HOD Science Department, and I myself, about certain topic, they will introduce themselves, and I wish you a double time for this ceremony. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me step down a little bit, because I think staying here may be too far from, the people. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Hope it's still morning, right? Yes. So I am Rawlings, Ogie by name, the founder, by the grace of God, the initiative called the Lost Voice Empowerment Initiative. An initiative that is put in place to help reshape the mindset of the people residing in this country under the same umbrella. But when we are referring to reshaping the mindset of the people, when we're referring to about the youth. And when we mean the youth, we mean people like you and I also. Well, believe in the word that says that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. How many of you have heard that before? Yes, the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But I'll tell you something is mixing in that concept. And what is really missing there is that the youths are not just the leaders of tomorrow, but also are the leaders of today. Because the cause of tomorrow are prepared for from when? From today. So you prepare the kind of life you want to live the day of tomorrow from today. So the youth are leading today and also tomorrow. Now, in a society where we live today, which is the main reason why we're here, you can see how things are going viral in ways that are not too perfect. an atmosphere that is not too cool for our children to thrive in. I mean, when I say children, I mean you. So what we are doing, or what the burden that we're taking upon ourselves, is how we can design a different atmosphere. An atmosphere that is conducive for each and every one of you to thrive in. You know, an atmosphere that will be enshrined with the values that is contained, those values that are contained in the founding book of this country. I mean, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And how we can change some certain things, and some that are not good, how we can mitigate them. For example, I want to talk about leadership. An excellent leadership. Who is a leader, for example? A leader is that person that take upon him or herself the mantle to show the way of what should be done and how it ought to be executed. The leader is also that person who's ready to take upon him or herself the blame when things are wrongly executed. And the leader also is that person that is ready to lead by example, because the word says that a good leader lead by what? By example. So when you are looking forward to become a leader or a great leader, you should do everything perfectly well. You should understand that there are some status quos that ought to be mitigated. Yes, saying that do everything perfect. Because every leader wants to leave and leave what is a legacy behind. You see, in the nation we are today, for example, we have the local government leaders, which are the chairmen or chairpersons. We have the governors, the reps, the senators, and you have the president of a country. All these are leaders, but they are leaders today, but some time ago they weren't leaders. Some were people like you, alumnus in different schools. And today they are leaders because they have so worked for it. But there are also things that are not too perfect in the system. And that is what we're really working on. For example, recognizing the right of every Nigerian and carrying everybody along, which is also the duty of a good leader. One of the duties of a good leader is that you have a good listening ears to listen to the worries and the cries of all the people that are under you. That means you have the capacity to carry everybody along in decision making. You don't just do things the way it suits you. You seek for advice, opinions, before conclusion is made. So, like I'm saying, for example, is the issue of so many Nigerians that their right have been completely undermined or wiped out of the book. And some of these factors result to the exasperation that is found with so many Nigerians today. I want to talk about the right of women in our society. We have been taught in time past, not you, that the education of a woman ends in the kitchen. Do you believe in that? Is there anyone here that believes in that? That is not true. That is not true. The education of a male child and a female child never end in the kitchen. It ends in where that male or female child is willing and capable to explore. So that means what we are fighting for is a society where the male child and the female child are given the same right by law. Equal right among male and female. That you're a female child does not replace the word inferior child. A female child is just a different sex from a male child, but not inferior. In the century we are today, 21st century, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that a male can do, a male child can do, then a female child cannot do it. I mean, nothing a man can do that a woman cannot do. What is important is that you believe in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, you can do everything. The other day I had a conference with over 300 people somewhere. And I asked them a question. Can anyone here stand up and point two things that a man can do in this world today that a woman cannot do? And no one could prove anything. That means we, the men, should put in our mind, or come to the consciousness that whatever a man can do, a woman can do it. We shouldn't treat the female among us inferior to ourselves. So this is also a value of a good leader. You must understand that everybody that you are carrying merit the same right, merit to be listened to, ought to have their place, and not right given to some group of persons and some not. And I have some few words stated down that I would like to reason with you. And also, if time permits, I don't know, I would like to have the floor for questions and answer, because I'm sure there will be, doubts or, things you want to get clear. I have just talked about who is a leader, and now the rules of a good leader, which things we just pointed. A good leader must know him or herself at all time. You must lead by example at all time. When we're talking about being a leader, it's the same as we want to talk about being a Christian or being a Muslim or any other faith that you practice. You see, I tell people so many times that Christianity is not a religion. It's not a religion. In other words, it's a way of life. I don't know about other religion, but the one that I understand is a way of life. When you say, I am a Christian, it means that you are a Christian in everything you do. Not only on Sundays or Friday, midweek service, where we have to sing and all that. That's not when you're a Christian. You're a Christian every second, every minute, every hour, and every day. So that's why I said, it's not a religion. It's a way of life. The word Christian, which the right pronunciation is Christians, It means people like Christ. So when you are like Christ, is another way of saying that you are emulating from your master. And to emulate from your master, you know what that entails. Your master was a perfect person. He wasn't perfect for some seconds, yes, and some seconds, no. So a good leader ought to be a leader every second, every minute, every hour, and every day. And always understand that you have the obligation to do what is right all the time and listen to your people. And also, challenges, like I said, challenges and how to mitigate those challenges. As an impeller that I am, I have been able to mollify so many challenges in my own domain with the spirit of leadership that is found in me. So how do you mollify or resolve some culminants or menaces that may arise along the way as a leader? Because it's not possible to lead a group of persons and never sometime have challenges. It requires a matured mind. Matured mind. That is why in the classroom, in my days, when I was in secondary school like you, I remember, they would come and look for some students that possess this quality who will be called out to be a group leader, class leader, class prefect, or something. I was one in my school. In my primary school, I was. In my secondary school, I was also. So I really know what it is to control challenges or what it takes to be a leader. And also, I want to talk about teamwork. Teamwork, which I think this is very, very vital. I just made a statement before that a good leader always listens to every of his or her what? Team member. The president, for example, the president has his own cabinet. The ministers, they are directly under him. Right? He listens to them. He coordinates them. When there is any mistake, he takes it upon himself. You understand? He doesn't point and say, you know what? The fault is not mine, the fault is Peter. Peter is in a team, and that team has what? A leader. But let's try to talk about the society we are living today and the kind of future that we are expecting to have. We have been living in a society for so many years. I wasn't born then when we had our independence. You all here can recite the national anthem, which part of it says that for the labor of our past heroes not to be in vain, we have to work, serve with heart and mind. As what? As one people, one family, bound in unity and freedom. You see the word to serve with heart and what? And mind. That means to give all. To give all you have. That's to ensure that the labor of our past heroes is not being of vain. But the society we're living today, we are living in that society that we the people are highly inculcated with a mindset of I don't care, which I describe as the mentality of na them know. Until we are able to turn that word from na them know to na me know, we have so much work to do. It is my dream and my wish to see that Nigeria is prospering and becoming that great nation embedded with great people that we have so longed for so many years, over 57 years now, in your own time, in this time, our time. I believe strongly in the strength that is in the youth of today, in you, in me. I believe that if we cannot change the demography of this nation, then no other generation will do. We have what it takes. Do you understand it? The high level of intellect. We have so many academists among us, technocrats, even catedratics in all ramifications. Perhaps what we don't have yet is the consciousness. And I strongly believe this is just the only thing that we need to bring in. Consciousness. Consciousness of what? There are so many consciousness. Consciousness to do what is right at what? At all time. You can become a good or a great leader as an individual. Also, your country can become a leading nation, or your entity, company, can become a leading company. It all depends on the strategies that's in place. It is not subject to impediment. We ought not to live in the life of always impleading others. When I mean the word implead, means accuse. The nation we're living in today is a nation whereby the people are used to pointing an accusation finger towards others. You see, one thing is certain. When I point this finger at you and accuse you of something, watch what happened here. 1, 2, 3. 3 fingers are doing work. I point it back at me. Do you know the message these 3 fingers are sending? It's very clear. So glaring. Check yourself first. You cannot offer what you don't have. Is that right? You cannot. Before you lead, you must possess those qualities that clear you a leader. We must be able to teach everyone around us the right way to go in life. We must be able to bring to our consciousness, our mindset, that the image of our nation, Nigeria, is ultimately important. Very important. You have only one country. I have only one country. And the name is what? Nigeria. No other one. If Nigeria becomes an enviable nation It is for your good and for my good. But if Nigeria becomes that country which everyone don't want to talk about, like put it aside, it's for you and for me. I have spent 15 years of my life in the European world since the year 2002. I left this country. I left this country to Europe to search for a greener pasture. I was born and hail from a very poor background. I wasn't born with a golden spoon. I watched my mother taking all kinds of odd jobs to see her children through, to send us to high schools without father by her side. I left this country because I wanted to help my mama and also to render help to my younger brothers, my siblings. Upon my arrival in the city of Paris, France, that was 2002, I discovered that this whole city, are like that which I have seen in my childhood in the book of my Bible story. I don't know if any of you had seen it. How beautiful it is, the Garden of Eden, everywhere looking perfect. The whole street is like glass. The people are well behaved. Meanwhile, where I hail from, things are the other way around. The mentality of the people in my nation is all about money making and make it too fast. Money, 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 money. That's a cry you hear here at home. Outside this place, offshores, what you hear is quite different, which is name making. Name, name, name. No wonder the other says that a good name is better than worth or bad rich. It is good, or it is preferred, that you are concentrated in building good name than work looking for money. In a few years I picked up a job and I was doing well. But I had never stopped one day to think about where I hail from. My worries every day is, how come that this way is perfect and that way is the other way around? I discovered one thing so clear, that this is the fruit of what? Mindset. Wrong orientation. So many of us will be wrongly taught by our parents on who to love if it pleases them and who to hate if it doesn't please them. What they don't understand is that they are pushing us to the verge of war. And what we are trying to provide for us today is a catalyst. A catalyst that will spunk us to the atmosphere of a perfect spectrum. Things that will really reorientate our mindset. That will bring us calmness and the understanding. How do we achieve great nation? What should we do individually, collectively? How do we join shoulders together with our leaders to provide an enabling environment? This is what we should be thinking of. Because that is what they are doing up there. A little child like you, mother, father, every one of them, they are thinking always how to build a good environment, how to make it right, how to speak good, how to possess a positive attitude all the time, how to help the leaders succeed. But meanwhile, here at home, we are expecting our leaders to provide everything for us without us playing any part in it, without contributing our quota. That is why what you've been taught and what I was taught is leaders are bad, leaders are bad, leaders are bad. But I stand here today before you to tell you that that is a wrong message, wrong information. Now, the impetus behind that information is that you grow up tomorrow pointing an accusation finger towards the leaders as the only cause of the debilitating state of our nation, instead of becoming or being part of the solution. So I charge you today, I compare you, that you be not like our fathers, but a new generation of this great country. This nation is highly rich in resources. When I was a little child, I met some. For example, the like of cocoa. Nigeria was one of the third in position as exporter of cocoa to the world. The likes of lattice, rubber lattice. You will not know that, I know. The likes of groundnut, even mining, agriculture. But today, all these things are completely eradicated. They're eradicated because all we are conscious of is what I stated before. Money, 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 and make it work very fast. So we are looking for the fast lane to make it, and not what will make us work great. I stated the other day, a family where one or two are the wealthy, that family is still very much subject to abject poverty. The poverty won't be removed until the wealth is spread or shared among so many. When the ones that are doing good become more, and the ones that are not doing very well are the lesser, then things will take a new dimension. So this journey that I have started to change the mindset from accusing our leaders and start seeing ourselves as the possible solution to the numerous issues we have in our skin. I may not be the one to finish this journey. And this is why I'm going from school to school, primary schools to primary schools, secondary schools to secondary schools, universities to universities, churches to churches, street to street, state to state, preaching this new gospel. I describe it as a gospel because it's a new direction to succeed and become a great nation full of great people. We can't continue in the state we are, allowing our neighbors offshores to look down on us all the time. When you go to the Europe, the America, the Asia continent, or abroad in general, and you're seeking for their nationality, what you don't understand, or what you're not putting into cognizance, is that you are denying your own nationality. You are declaring yourself as homeless folk. So when you are given that nationality, you are given that nationality enshrined in empathy. Another word of saying you are given the nationality, just a way of saying we want to sympathize with you, an adopted citizen. You're not original. You have a nation, a country that you ought to have built. So, like I said before, a greener pasture that most of us, not you've heard how Nigerians are killing themselves to get to Europe. They want to go to the greener pasture. And so many of them are losing their lives in the Sea of Mediterranean every day. I was there before, like I said, in Europe, so I see these things every day. So many had been enslaved in so many countries in Africa, in the north. Because of work, they are searching, fighting to work to make the greener pasture. What I have brought for you today is to inform you that a greener pasture is not given to any man or any woman. A greener pasture is earned. You can earn a greener pasture in your hometown, in your country, if you work hard for it. A question so many people ask is, when will this be? Have we suffered enough? My question to those people, my answer to them is, if you abandon this country and I abandon this country, and we don't take the matters or the issues of this country seriously upon ourselves, who are we expecting to come and rectify that which is damaged? No German is going to fix Nigeria. No Italian. No Spanish. No British. The only people that is falling onto to fix that which is broken are Nigerians themselves. In another word, it is falling onto us to take this nation to a greater height or allow it to fall into a valley of despair. And that is not my wish. That is why I'm speaking to you. You can see how I am working on too much emphasis, because I want it to get down to your marrows. that it is your responsibility to become the great leader of tomorrow, of this country, of these states, of this local government. And you can do that quite perfect and create a different atmosphere if you can acknowledge what you've heard today and what you are learning from your school teachers every day. I'll repeat one again. It is my great pleasure being among you today. I hope that there will be more time that we meet again. Or remember, a good leader lead by example. There is no difference between man and a woman. Treat every female child among you the same way you treat the male child. See the women among you the same way you see yourself. I'm referring to the men here. When you become a man and you have to become, how do I put it? Because circumstances. When you become a man and you have a wife, treat your wife as what? As your queen. Because if you, the man, sees yourself as a king, then your wife is a queen. When you are coming to school and you've been driven by your parents to school in a motor car, and your dad and your mom is driving one-way traffic, tell him or her, Dad, Mom, this is wrong. Do that. Because one day, I was driving along this Barua road, and I looked behind me through the retrovisor, and I saw a jeep and was driving one way. And as an impeller, I blocked the vehicle, stepped down on my car, walked down to the man. I got there. The first thing I saw from the windscreen was the flag of APC. Now, this has nothing to do with political party, please. Now, I asked the man to turn down the window. He did. And I saw 3 adorable children inside, students, going to school in the morning. And I asked the man, what do you think you were doing? And he said, I'm sorry, it's because, my children are late, so I'm trying to see how I can beat the traffic. And I told the man this word. Education is in 2 segments. Education. The professional studies is one thing. Moral study is another thing. This is 50% and this is 50%. So what you are giving these kids right now is a wrong formation. So indirectly, what you're doing is, if they grow up tomorrow, you're just teaching them, if you grow up tomorrow and there is traffic on the way, beat the traffic by what? Drive one way. So we should be conscious of these things. Let's behave rightly at all the time. At all the time. Let's be respectful. Let the respect be what? Reciprocal. All right? For every man and every woman. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
Please, what's the role of parents in leadership?
Pardon?
Like, what's the role of parents in leadership?
Okay. And question. I want you all to give her a hand of applause for that question. That's such a great one. Yes. Thank you. The role of parents in leadership. You see, the word parents, it's massive, especially when it comes to motherhood and fatherhood. Um, in the childhood. I believe, like I stated in my last statement, on how that father was taking the children to school and how he was corrected in presence of his children. You see, was he supposed to act that way? No. He was supposed to remain on the traffic queue, or right, and don't beat traffic, because what that father was doing was educating the children wrongly. Am I right? Wrongly. Now, in so many homes in this nation, for example, you've heard that some men, they have more than one wife. Something like this, which is completely archaic. That's completely repugnant. So, what is that father, what is he teaching his male children? He's teaching them that when they grow up, they should have more than a wife. Now, consider also parents, or thank you, parents or father that's practicing domestic violence in all ramifications, which is something absolutely stinking. Everyone should see how he's able to abstinate him or herself from such conduct. So those children, they are seeing different level of violence being practiced every day at home, which is not a good way of bringing up a child, right? So the role of a parent in the child upbringing, or to become a leader, is to ensure that you as the parent know what it takes to be a good father or a good mother. You understand? Because the very first and the perfect role model for children are who? Their parents. They emulate first from their parents before other people. Whatever they see their parents doing is what they believe that they should do. You know, little children, they are like foam, the mattress foam. Any drop of water on it doesn't fall away, get absorbed. So parents should be very conscious on the kind of attitude they put on before their children, because they emulate from them very fast. Thank you. I guess that answers your question. Thank you. Any more question? Oh, thank you.
Mr. Kenneth, my question has to do with your initiative or your company, the Lost Voice. I was trying to associate or synchronize the company with the lecture. So maybe you can help us by telling us exactly what the Lost Voice is all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Such an eloquent question. Yes. In fact, I was expecting to be asked something like that. Yes. You see, this initiative, the Lost Voice Empowerment Initiative, how does it, what has it to do with the society, the atmosphere we're living in today? It has all to do with all. When you say the lost voice, that means we are empowering, is an empowerment of the lost voice. That's the meaning. An initiative. Right? Now, who are the lost voices? Or who is the lost voice? That's the question. Because you are empowering what? The lost voice. Or the lost voices in plural. The lost voices are your voice, my voice, the voice of every Nigerian's home and in diaspora. There are things we have been nursing on our mind that we supposed to bring out, or that we wanted, or we would have loved to bring to the notice of the public, and we've not had the opportunity to do so. And this is your platform. Especially for women, the right of women in the society. The voice of Nigerian women are completely eradicated from the book, and also completely undermined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Their rights are denied. So this is to empower those voices that are eradicated, to bring them back to book. Those values that made us believe that we are one nation bound in freedom. The voice of democracy, which is very important, which is number one, equal plus unum, the standard rules and law of democracy. Democracy that we practice is what we still yet don't know. We are taking some part of it to practice, and some parts are being put aside. Now, the process of democracy ought to be worked in totality. Right for everybody on equal base. So the lost voice is the voice of every man that are marginalized or undermined, every woman that had no voice in this nation, every single mothers that are suffering for one assignment to another to raise her children. Those women that are being thrown away from their husband home by their husband, with 2 children, with 3 children, with 4, like the case of my mother. This is to empower their voices. We are demanding from our honorable lawmakers, or what they call senators, to pass the bill of equal right, that in its coverage will provide so many amenities as to eradicate sufferings in our society. And also, we are very conscious and optimistic that its impetus will also mitigate miscreancy from the street. Thank you. Do we have a question? Yeah? Any question? Do we? All right. Thank you very much, and God bless you once again. Thank you.
Lost Voice Empowerment Entertainment Team, live at Honeyland International School, Ibadan. I have the pleasure to interview the head boy of Honeyland International School. What's your name?
Ogie.
So what can you say about what Mr. Ogie has said about the Lost Voice Entertainment?
Yes, the entertainment program is really helped to becoming or making myself becoming a good leader. And I hope I work on my leadership skills in order to help with that too.
So what advice do you have for every youth out there that are inspiring to be a good leader? So what advice do you have for them?
They should work on their leadership skills too, because anyone can become a leader.
So if at any time you've been asked to be a member of the Lost Voice Empowerment Initiative team, you really love to do that?
Yes, I would love to do that.
Alright, that is nice meeting you, nice having a nice time, and that is the head boy of Honeyland International School. Thank you very much. Very nice. Alright, I have the pleasure, the head girl, spoken with the head boy. This is the head girl of Honeyland International School of Ibadan. You're welcome, sister. What's the name?
Adigun Tobloba.
Miss Adigun Tobloba. So what have you got to say with what Mr. Rawlings Ogie from the Lost Voice Empowerment Initiative? You must have something, must have been inspired by one or two of his work. So what can you say about the team?
I really learned that it's not only the students, the school, parents, and a lot of other people have a role in the leadership skills. And I also learned that they have to, like the youths also have to work on their leadership skills, and all students are equal.
And thank you very much. So if you have the opportunity, would you love to be a member of the Lost Voice Empowerment Initiative team?
Yes.
Why?
I would, because it helped, because I really learned a lot, and I would like to help other students in getting the same experience that I just had.
Alright, thank you very much. That is the head girl in Honeyland International School. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Benjamin Abraham, aka MC Ben, member of the Lost Voice Empowerment Initiative team. It's nice having a very lovely time with these kids in Honeyland International School. Have a lovely day. Thank you.